There are some people watching this video right now that are in toxic relationships. If you're watching this video right now, you are in a toxic relationship. You need to remove yourself. Of course, easier said than done. It's always easier said than done. But you have to start making progress and strides toward removing yourself and getting out of a toxic relationship. Both women and men alike are involved in toxic relationships. Stop allowing yourself to do and say certain things that keep you tied into that toxic relationship. Stop allowing that person to have so much control and dominion over your life that keeps you stuck in that toxic relationship. Stop accepting things and stuff from that person that keeps you tied into the toxic relationship. When you allow those people to continue to do things for you and you continue to accept certain things from them, that keeps them tied in to the situation, and it gives them a sense of entitlement. They feel they have the right to continue to be who they are and where they are with you in your life because you allow it. You have to get out of that toxic relationship. You have to remove yourself from that situation by any means necessary. Primarily inside of toxic relationships, the person that's creating the toxic atmosphere is usually an emotionally unstable person. They do not know how to control their emotions. They allow their emotions to lead them rather than logical thought and rational thought. They act off of feelings and emotions initially first. Then, once the logic and the rationality starts to settle in, they're sorry. If they were sorry, they wouldn't do it again and again and again. And if you didn't want to be in that relationship, in that toxic situation, you wouldn't allow it to happen over and over and over, again and again. You would get out. You have to find a way to get out. You can't stay there in that relationship any longer. You got to go. Figure out what it's going to be, how you're going to do it, who you're going to call, who can you rely on, what type of outreach is there for you, whether it's some type of group or a certain person or people in your life. Allow them to help you. Push your pride to the side. Sometimes you have to go stay with a friend or a loved one. Sometimes you have to move to another city or another state. Sometimes you have to just flat out disappear out of these people's lives in order for you to continue a healthy life for yourself. And especially if you have children involved in the situation, you got to get out. You can no longer remain in these toxic relationships with these emotionally unstable individuals. A lot of men and women stay in these situations, and unfortunately, a lot of times it ends up in death or jail, or someone being hurt and injured very badly, which ultimately alters the rest of their lives. They get wounded and have scars, emotional scars and physical scars, and go through these things that change their life forever. And just because this person hasn't physically hit you doesn't mean that they won't, male or female. Just because they haven't pulled out a gun on you or put a knife to your throat doesn't mean that they won't. The longer you stay in that situation, the greater the chances of that happening. You're increasing your odds of being messed up for whatever reason it is. Maybe you love them, but you got to love them enough to let them go. And you got to love yourself enough to get the hell out of that situation. You can't stay there. You got to move around. You got to get out of that. Somebody needs to hear this message. And I'm going to start doing more videos when the spirit is on me and when my heart feels compelled to drop some messages, because I've been a lot more active with these type of messages on my social media sites, and I've been getting inboxes from friends and some people, strangers, asking me to do videos. So I'm going to start doing these videos, and hopefully they'll reach the people that they're supposed to reach, and they'll serve that purpose in their life. And this message is straight to the point. If you're in a toxic relationship, get out. Find a way. Put your pride aside. Reach out for help. Allow somebody to help you. With all the people and all the programs and all of the groups and everything in this world, in American society, around you every day, there's no excuse for anyone to be in a toxic relationship. Yes, the shift is going to be uncomfortable. Nobody want to go back home and live with their mama. They don't have to. They got a home, but you living with somebody that's toxic. Of course, you don't want to have to move in with your brother or your sister and take your kids or your children with you. Of course, you don't want to have to move in with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, your best friend, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. Change, for the most part, is never comfortable, but change is necessary for growth. And I always use this analogy, and I'm gonna use this analogy in the closing of this video. Change is necessary for growth. Imagine if a butterfly never changed from a caterpillar. We look at a caterpillar and it looks like an ugly ass little worm. I remember caterpillars when I was a kid in my single digits, when life was still very brand new to me. Ugh, look at this little ugly green worm. And I used to poke them with a stick and flick them and, do all these things with them. And for a long time, I never knew as a child growing up that same little ugly caterpillar was that weird looking brown cocoon with webs around it that opened up and turned into one of the most beautiful creatures on the planet. You got to get back to yourself. You got to change. You got to go through the metamorphosis. You got to turn from that unappealing caterpillar and go into your cocoon. Sometimes you have to withdraw. Sometimes you have to get away from everything and everybody to better yourself and your situation, so that when that cocoon cracks open and when you see daylight again, you got wings and you're full of color and life. You're vibrant. And through all that struggle and the heartache and the pain and the uncomfortableness of your past situation, now you're a beautiful creature and you can spread your wings and you can fly. Get out of those toxic situations. Go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. You can do it. I know you can.